Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be making use of neon paints in our artwork. So for those of you who've followed me for a while know that I love all things neon. They just make me happy, and I never used to be a really bright person, I have to say, but just the pop of colour they give on the page is just amazing. It's like putting a filter over something. So I'm starting off in my craft journal, which I had a page that was gessoed, and I've just glued this collage sheet down in its entirety into my journal. So this is a sheet from Natalie May Scrapbooking, and by gluing this down on a white surface means that I'm going to get sort of true colour behind it. Now if I glued that down just straight onto the craft paper, it would sort of have brownish tinges to it. So that's just the difference. It really doesn't matter in the end, especially if you're going to be putting paint over the top. But if you really want to have sort of true bright colours, make sure you've got some white behind it. So I'm using my Amsterdam neon paints, and I tend to apply my neons with my finger. I don't know why. I just enjoy the sensation of them. These are slightly translucent, slightly plasticky. A lot of the paints I tend to use are a more matte feel to them, so it's nice using a different texture paint. You can see how easily they sort of smudge on and how bright they are. One thing to be aware of is that with neons, in most cases they are quite translucent, so they layer over really well. You can see through them, obviously. Because of the nature of them, or because they don't necessarily have a matte finish, it can be a little bit tricky at times to put some other media over the top. So example, if I was trying to put, it would be really difficult to put colour pencil over the top of this because it does have that plasticky surface to it. So have a little bit of an experiment with the neons that you've got and see what you can do with them. You can certainly stencil over them, use paint pens over them, Stabilo oil pencil will go over them. So they're by no means difficult to use. You just need to be aware that they do have a slightly different viscosity, I suppose, than some of the other paints that we tend to use. The other thing is, while I'm using acrylics here, you can get neons in all sorts of media. So obviously paint pens come in acrylics, paint pens come in neons, but you can also get neon watercolors, which are really fun to use as well. So now I'm just stenciling over the top just to help blend the image in a little bit, and I'm using some marine. So it's a really sort of lovely color which blends nicely with the bright colors I'm using in the background. I think if I tried to use black on this, I wanted some darker contrast to it, but if I'd put black on it, it would have been too black. And it would have taken away from the brightness I had on the page. So it's important when you're doing stuff like this to think about the balance, I suppose, of the colours that you are using and how one colour is going to affect another. Now I'm just going in with some of my watercolour distress crayons, or pencils, sorry, I keep calling them crayons, and layering over the top of my collage image. So again, I could do this over the bits that I didn't put the neons over, where the neons were sort of gliding over the surface a little bit, which wasn't in any means bad, it was just a difference. So just be aware that you're not quite going to get the colouring that you want to on those surfaces. So at the moment I'm just blending a few different colours together to get a few different shades and shaping up the rest of the body, putting in a little bit of that darker blue around her face to push her out from the background a little bit, putting in some shadows on her, I don't know, cornrows are they? I have no idea, I'm terrible at hair. You can sort of see there though, I've just put that crayon over the top of the yellow neon paint, so it does go over, you just need to push a little bit harder. And while I'm sort of sitting there pondering, I'm trying to work out what I want to do next. So I kind of have that space in the lower right hand corner that needs something, and you know, when it's Niamh and when it all comes down to it, it's probably going to be a quote that gets put in there, so that's what's going to happen. I started off using my chrome pen to write my quote, but I was really struggling to get it to go over the neon paint, and it just wasn't flowing as nicely as it should have. You can sort of see there, it's just a bit not quite as bright as it was. So I tried going over it again to get another layer. So I thought maybe if I had a base layer down that I could get another layer over the top, but you can see it's just a little bit of a fight. So I just give up on that thought and just go straight in with the black pen. So my consideration with this was that if any of the gold was sort of peeking out from behind, there can be like a drop shadow on it. But I found the black really stood out against the bright background, so it really helped. It really brought the piece together. So when you can't find the sun, be the sun. I thought I need a nice bright quote on my page, so I'm just heat setting that so I don't smudge it. And finally then going in and putting a bit of another drop shadow. So while the gold was a little bit there too, and you'll see that in the close-up, you'll see the white as well, and that will just help push it out from the background. I don't know why the metallic pen didn't necessarily sit over the top when these ones do. I've got a feeling, again, it's probably to do with the slickness of it. The metallic pens are a mirror effect pen, so they are actually quite slick when they go on the surface. They don't have that matte coating, and I wonder if that's the reason why they just didn't react well together, but they didn't go on top of each other. They didn't layer well together. So that's my completed piece. Really, really quick and easy. But you can sort of see the smudginess of the neons in the background, how bright they are and how they sort of really boost the colour of the page. How it makes, the image in the middle a focal point, and how those words pop out from the background as well. So I hope you have fun playing with some neon colours. I know I have converted some people to them. I hope I can convert a few more. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.